everybody. Welcome, welcome. We are going live here today with Tracy Dews, the amazing and beautiful hydration expert and wellness advocate, whom you may already know from her HYDRATE podcast, which is just a wealth of information and really amazing guests, all on the topic of how to live a juicy, hydrated, healthy life. So we're thrilled to have her on. Welcome, Vadra. Welcome, Always Throbbing. Welcome, Josh. Hey, love. Welcome, Hida in the World and Christine. And I can see Tracy is with us, so I'll go ahead and bring her on. You're welcome. You guys are all here. Tracy is a brand new author. Congratulations, Tracy, on the amazing new book, Hydrate.
Thanks for making time today. I am so excited to have this conversation because we both just our life mission is to educate on the miracle that water is. And so, yes, thank you.
Yes, it is such a miracle. I remember discovering your work probably about 2 or 3 years ago. I think it was, yeah, maybe 2020 or 2021. And the minute I did, I was like, oh my God, this woman is such a sister. We're absolutely on the same page. She gets it. You know, water is the most important thing, not only for health, but for basically every aspect of human existence. So for anybody who's on the call today and isn't familiar with your work, can you share a little bit about, and I would love to hear it again too, how did you get fascinated by water? Like, how did you discover this incredible, well-kept secret of the magic and the power and mystery of
like
water?
Almost everybody listening here, you know, I grew up thinking you drink 8 glasses of water a day and you want it to be clean, so you look for filtered water, and that's about it, you know? And it felt like it worked until I hit a point in my life where I was pregnant with my first daughter, and I was 24 years old when I got pregnant for her, and I was one of those people that ate out of my garden. I worked out every day. I drank water. I didn't drink, eat sugary foods. I never drank a drip of alcohol. I felt like I live this healthy life. I should be optimized. Well, I wasn't. I felt sick. I had acne. I was constipated. I had a lot of things going on, and I couldn't figure out what it was until, and my body was getting so dry when I was pregnant. I had very little amniotic fluid, no stomach. If you look at my photos that I posted while I was 8 months pregnant, it looked like I wasn't pregnant because the amniotic fluid was so minimal. And I'd wake up with my eyelids stuck to my eyeballs. Like my body was getting that dry, and I was drinking almost a gallon of water a day. I would have water next to my bed because it was like I was waking up so thirsty, and my tongue would literally be stuck to the roof of my mouth. It was an awful feeling, and it was something that I thought, gosh, I keep drinking water, and it's not getting better, right? So we're all taught the more water we drink, the more hydrated we'll be. Well, this is just a part of the truth. It's very like less than 1% of the truth, right? As you know, and so I started to notice that the different waters I would drink would make a difference. So when I would drink my RO filtered water, I was getting more dehydrated, or that's the way it felt. And then when I would drink spring water or living water, I noticed that I was quenched for longer. And so then it opened up something in my mind where I was like, whoa, all of these clear liquids that we call water are not the same. And that's when it led me down the path to go back to school to get my PhD in integrative medicine. And I went to herbal school after that. And I just really wanted to start understanding this crystalline structure that we are. And that was 17 years ago. And I've been literally, my life has been dedicated to it ever since. And it's just, as you know, the more you learn about it, the more you realize how much you don't know. It's just, each day I become more and more humbled, and it's hard to even talk about it because it feels like, oh my gosh, what can I give? Because it's something so vast. It's like trying to explain God.
Yes, it literally is. It absolutely is. And sometimes the discussion about water leads directly into that. It's like you kind of can't discuss divinity without discussing water, and you can't discuss water without discussing divinity. And even if you start, like it sounds like both of us did, from the perspective of just health and wellness and human optimization, inevitably it takes you to that place of, okay, but the more our crystalline body temple is optimized and hydrated, the closer our connection to our own higher self, our own spirit, because you just have the capacity to channel so much more energy. And I think you are such a beacon of that in the world, because you do really like shine in this way that, you know, you always kind of have this glow about you. And that's, you know, I'm sure it's a lot of factors, but it's a natural downstream effect of just having that extra cellular charge that you get when your intracellular fluid is structured. And I'm so glad you brought up the point that it's not just drinking more water, because this is the most common misperception. And your work especially really explains well, I think, that, you know, it's not just the water we drink, it's the quality of our emotions
Yeah.
and our thoughts and our relationships that we have in our life and the environment that we're in. So can you share a bit about that with people? Like, what is your general philosophy around what is hydration exactly? If
Yeah,
it's
that's
not
a
the water
really
we
good
drink, what
question,
is it?
Isabel. Um, well, I've owned a functional medicine clinic and wellness spa and luxury retreat for 17 years, right? And with the doctors, I've dedicated my life since I was 15 to shadowing doctors around the world. I'd fly to any country, any place to shadow the doctors that I thought were the most magnificent and making an impact in the world. And I noticed that a lot of them had these like really intense, unique protocols, and it's like these vitamins, you do this, these supplements or medication or whatever it is. And I, in my practice, was doing those things where it's like, okay, we need these supplements and whatever it is. And one day I realized, I was like, a lot of these people don't know the foundations and the basics to health. Our cells are divinely intelligent. They know exactly what to do to heal. But what we do is we get out of the way, whatever the obstacles are for healing. And a lot of those obstacles are that we're just not getting into nature, into the environment that has been given to us, like getting the full spectrum nutrition of sunlight, getting the earth, getting charged from the earth's frequencies and resonating with the earth so that our body can just calm and relax. And the free electrons that we get, we plug in our phone every night. This is a very simple, simplistic way to say it, but we plug in our phones every night. We're getting those electrons inside the phone. What about our cells, those free electrons? Do we charge our cells at night? And as I started to ask these questions to my patients, I realized that they're excited about all these protocols. They want a pill that's going to fix them, but many of them were not doing the basic things that they needed for health. So that's why I wrote the book, Hydrate, because I realized that there's 9 pillars of health, in my opinion, that are essential for thriving. And so I came up with these pillars that are hydration, which were made of 99% water molecules, minerals, nutrition, sunlight, grounding, sleep, movement, creative playtime, and connected community. So like you said, Isabel, like we can do all of these things in nature, but if we're not connecting with those we love on a deep level, that's heart connection, we're not going to thrive. We need those heart connections. We need to know that we're loved and be able to have this love flowing through us and to us. And I love the creative playtime part too, because I thought, gosh, you know, when we were kids, we used to go out and play. We'd have our shoes off. We'd be, you know, in the sunlight. We'd be moving. We'd be laughing. We'd be jumping. And we've forgotten that. And I think when we get out and we just start moving our bodies and letting go of the fears of what people are going to think, this is what unlocks a lot of the trauma in our brain, because our body is a gateway to all of that locked trauma. And as we know, the water holds information. So all of that information, the trauma, those feelings that we've stored, they're in our body and they're in our cellular matrix, which is the water matrix. And so how do we get that
Mhm.
purified and, vortexed so that we can get that information, delete that negative information, and really reinform it with something healing. And I think this starts with the 9 pillars: the
Mhm.
sunlight, the grounding, the sleep, the movement, the connections. So the book really goes through how to do that in a playful way, right? Because no one wants to say, here's what you need to do, here's your prescription, go do this. Oh gosh, I gotta get this sunlight. Oh yeah, I gotta go to the
Mhm.
gym, I gotta move. It's like a checklist that we have to do, and nobody wants that. We want it to be
Mhm.
part of our lifestyle that we look forward to. So that's why I created it, so that it's like you can look in here and get inspired in any page, and you're gonna see, different recipes. Yeah, you're
Oh,
gonna see
it's
different
beautifully
recipes,
designed.
different like
Yes.
tips of things that you can do each day to get inspired, and how you can,
Mhm.
thrive. And
Yeah, I love the
thank you.
layout. That's so nice. I didn't realize that creative play is one of your pillars, and I just love that. And it's funny that that we happen to be talking today because I have one of my dearest girlfriends in town right now visiting me. And this morning we went out to brunch and we brought a bunch of watercolors with us. And so at brunch we're just like painting and giggling and playing and being creative. And the whole time I'm thinking, oh,
Yes.
this is such a nutrient. Like this is so something that we need. And I love that you've baked that into kind of the recipe for life, the elixir of life, you know? And I also feel like as you're saying each one of those and thinking, water also needs each one of those things to be healthy. I feel like we need those things because we are bodies of water, water needs movement. If she gets stagnant, she goes dormant and loses her structure and goes to sleep. Water needs quality relationships in terms of the relationships between the water molecules. You have to have those really strong hydrogen bonds, whether they're, van der Waals bonds or electrostatic bonds or whatever. I think of those as being like friendships or family relationships or romantic dynamics. Like there's these different kinds of connections that form the different communities of molecular clusters that give that water its culture, its capacity to channel like specific vibrations. And I really think water needs, obviously water needs minerals and electrolytes to be healthy. Water needs sleep. Victor Schauberger talked about that a lot. And I think that is something that not a lot of people in the water space talk about, but Victor Schauberger was all about giving water the space to kind of, within the ennoblement process, to be quiet and be still and be away from outside influences and like being inside of an egg-shaped amphora or inside of like a carbon gene or something like that where there's no radiation or no stimuli from the outside, so she can integrate all that she has received, and so all of these things, it's like, yeah, we are bodies of water, and there's this beautiful mirroring that happens in that process. And when we do start living a more hydrating lifestyle, closer to nature, which is designed fundamentally to hydrate us, right? There's so many incredible shifts that happen. And there's just this cascade, this literal ripple effect in our lives and in the lives of people we know. So you've been in this space for 20 years working with so many clients. I would love to hear some of the most amazing transformations that you've witnessed in people when they've started to kind of take on these hydrating practices, when they go from dry to thriving. What are the biggest or the most common or the
I
most
love that
impactful shifts that you've
question
seen?
because there are so many fun things. There's a couple of stories that really come to mind. I think I had we've had people come in from stage 4 cancer to just dealing with fibromyalgia their whole entire life, or gut imbalances and rashes all over their body. But there was this one woman that she came in and she had so much pain in her body for so many years. Like she had been dealing with it most of her life. And she was at a point where she couldn't even put her clothes on. Her husband used to have to get her dressed in the morning, and she said she couldn't even pull her covers over her at night because it was like too painful to do that. And I asked her what kind of water she was drinking, and she's like, clean water. I don't remember. It was like from the refrigerator or something, carbon filter. And I said, okay. I'm not going to give you any supplements or prescriptions right now. What I'm going to do is just have you change two things. I want you to look at the water you're drinking and switch from filtered to living water, some sort of living spring. And I want you to take your shoes off and walk on the beach for 30 minutes a day, 3 times a week. And that was it. And she's like, okay, yeah, I can do that. And she did it. And like, here's the thing, we can guide, but the people need to actually do the work, right? And so I'm so proud of her because she did that. She went and she took this information and she said, I am going to commit to going to walking on the beach 3 times a week for a half an hour and drinking spring water. So she comes back 30 days later for our follow-up and she was in tears. I have her on film. She's just like, my life has changed. I'm 90% better. I can move. I can get dressed in the morning. And this is something that's been chronic for most of her life. So just switching her water up and getting sunlight and connecting to the earth changed everything for her. And it's those kind of stories that remind me that, and this is why I wake up in the morning, my passion is to remind people that the hope that's already within them. They already have hope. They already have access to these things, but sometimes we get to be reminded of that because we can forget because life gets hard and a lot of obstacles to healing can get in the way. And so to have someone remind us that, yeah, here's some obstacles and here's how we can overcome them. Here are the opportunities that you have. Your opportunity is that you get to choose which water you want to drink. Your opportunity is that you get to take your shoes off and go stand in the sunlight and walk on the beach. And when she was reminded of those opportunities and she chose to do it, her health was significantly impacted. I mean, we have a patient that came in with stage 4 cancer that she had been dealing with, I think it was like 10 years. She had cancer and then she overcame it and then it came back and, you know, the whole cycle where it kept coming back and she was doing the allopathic route of chemo. She came to our retreat center, stayed for 3 days, and she literally after going back, her markers immediately changed. They started to get better and she's been cancer free for 5 years. So these kind of things where it's like we just give people the tools and remind them what they have access to. And that's why I came up, you know, with the book of the 9 pillars of health, because all I did was remind her of these 9 pillars of health, like what she can do, and she's doing them faithfully. And so here's like a map, but then I'm so excited about my patients and what they chose to do. They did the hard work. They're the heroes of their health story. And we get to give them this guide and this map and inform them, and then they get to go play. They get to go do the creative play, create the elixir of life for themselves. And gosh, I mean, what a fun job. I mean, I wake up every morning and go, I get to do this. This is so exciting, right? And I mean, I know we all have our health stories, but it's like, it's exciting for me because I had those moments where I felt without hope and I felt like I was trying so hard to be healthy and I was just swimming upstream and getting exhausted and I didn't know what else to do. And I kept thinking, oh, if I find this one pill or this one supplement or this one protocol, then it'll heal me. Then my problems will go away. And I wasn't getting better. And it wasn't until I realized that the body of water that I am is this crystalline structure that's sending and receiving information all the time. It's getting informed by my environment, the thoughts I think, the words I say, the people I'm around. If I'm in an environment that's heavily, you know, toxic with non-native EMFs all day or toxic lighting, and I'm not choosing to change that, then it was affecting my health. And so once I learned the opportunity and what I could do and started to thrive and felt amazing in my body, I thought I want everyone to feel this way because it's so exciting.
It is, and it's so rewarding and so fulfilling to get to witness that transformation in people and just, I mean, it's the gift of life, right? Water is life. And when you start doing these things and taking on this hydration practice, it's like you see people start to come alive and feel that revivification. I don't think there's anything like more exciting or fulfilling in the entire world than witnessing those kind of transformations. And all of the 9 pillars in your book are, like you said, they're not overcomplicated like most people who are really sick and really suffering. It's like it's really so easy to get overwhelmed with all of the potential you know, strategies and directions and different medicine paths. And it's just like, you don't know where to start. But what you've outlined with the 9 pillars is basically like, just get back to being human, like get back to being in your natural habitat that we're designed to be in. And that is what makes our cells thrive. When we feel juicy and alive and amazing, we thrive. And it sounds so simple, but it's so countercultural because our culture nowadays is just built around, you know, so many counterproductive things when it comes to health. Like our whole culture is almost a death cult in a way, like from our lighting to our water to our food to our work environments. All of it is really putting people at such a disadvantage, but they've just kind of accepted that as the status quo. And what you're doing with this book is calling people to say, okay, that might be the status quo, but is that really the reality that you want to live in? And the the alternative is not only enjoyable but accessible. Like, you can go to incredible spas and get like really bougie water tools and alchemy practices, but also you could just like get closer to nature. And what I love about your strategies as well is like, they're very accessible for people. So can you speak a little bit about that, and about, you know, to somebody who says, you know, it would be great to get water structuring practices in place in my life, but it's just, you know, I'm on all these medications, I have all these medical bills, blah blah blah. It doesn't feel accessible. Can you talk a little bit about that? Actually, a lot of it
Yeah,
is free and anyone
absolutely.
can
So,
access.
yes, you and I both talk about these amazing devices that we love for structuring water, um, and they're fun, and I love studying them. I just spent 2 weeks in Japan. I just got back from the University of Kobe, where I was working with the aquaphotomics lab, and we're learning all of the frequencies of water and water mapping, and it was just so much fun. But
Amazing. I definitely want to
yeah,
hear
but
more
it's
about that in a
it's like
second.
what I learned from it, and what I've been learning along the way is that yes, those things are fun, and yes, those can change water, but it doesn't need to be hard. So if you're at home and you're wondering, how can I make this living water at home? I mean, there's two things I say to start with. If you order your water and you're, having water sent to you, just make sure that the source is from a living spring. And you can also ask for the water profile. What kind of minerals are in this? And understand it. And then you're unique. Your water body is going to require different kinds of waters at different times, because there's different frequencies inside the water and different structures because of those frequencies, that it's being structured in a different way, and your body's going to have different needs. So when you drink the water, if your body gets excited and you're like, ooh, I want more of that, chances are this is like really resonating with you. If you're not wanting to drink water, then I say just kind of switch it up. Go to the grocery store and always look for living water, spring water. Throw out that filtered water because that's incoherent and we have no idea what that is. But go back to nature. What is nature made? Let's go look at these springs and start water tasting. Ooh, this one feels good when I drink it, and I want more of it, and my body feels quenched and it's resonating with me. So that's going to take time too, to like tap into yourself. But if you also want to do it at home, what you can do is you can filter your water, and I suggest either reverse osmosis or water distillation, because reverse osmosis has very comprehensive filtration, and you can get them online for, I don't know, $200-300, and then it's like there in your home for years. But then once you're breaking water down to build it back up, right? So you've just broken it down. Now it's incoherent in its state. It's lacking minerals. It's lacking coherent structure. And so you want to build it back up. So I would take some quinton minerals or some really good sea salt that has a beautiful, clean profile. There's different ones that I love from New Zealand and the Sea of Cortez that are good. That have good profiles. So you can put the minerals back in, and then you can put it in the sunlight for a little bit to activate it. You can stir it. Even stirring the water, you're creating this vortex and this movement, and then the sunlight's putting these frequencies into it. And then go put it in a cold, dark space for 6 to 8 hours, which would be your refrigerator, and then let it start to structure itself. So you don't have to have all these devices to do it. Yes, they're fun. Yes, they make it easy, but anyone can do it.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. It's so accessible, and it really comes back to
Yeah.
just mimicking what nature does. She makes the best water. We don't have to reinvent the wheel or, overcomplicate it. Okay, I'm super curious to hear about your trip to
It
Kobe. Can you share
was
about that? What was that
amazing.
like?
It literally changed my life. I feel like God was literally calling me. I felt this pull that I needed to go. I was at the World Water Conference in October, and I met a woman there who was sharing her study with water frequencies, and she said that her mentor, who had a double PhD, was studying the frequencies of water. And I heard about her, and I was like, okay, I'm going to go to Kobe in April because I want to go during the cherry blossoms. And I will go and I will visit her, and we just became best of friends. I mean, it was like water sisters, And so we're going to be opening an aquaphotomics lab here in the U.S. and being able to read people's
Beautiful.
water
That's exciting.
body, doing vis near infrared
Mm,
spectrometry, and we'll be able to see what's happening inside your body. You can even see like your age, how old you are based on your water body. You can see a lot of
mm,
biomarker profiles from this. And she has created this algorithm to really understand the different frequencies and how they're laid out and what that looks like in your body, and then looking at a body of water, like whatever water you're drinking, and be able to see its profile and see, like, is this water good for you? Is this water resonating with you? It's one of the first things that I've really seen in water that can take it and um, you can replicate the results, so it's science, it's true science. Like there's real
mm,
hard science with a lot of
mm.
data to back it, and that makes me feel good because I think in the water world, sometimes people can look at us and think, oh, this is so esoteric, what you're talking about, does it make sense? And so her work really brings like a good science background to it that we can look at and go, oh my gosh. So
Mhm.
she talks a lot about the quantum field and how the field is really impacting, and the water is this conduit and this connection. And she's just such a, I'll introduce you to her, Isabel. She's like such a badass. My daughter went with us on the trip, and she was like, Mama, that lady is like the true boss babe. Like, she's like, she's like,
Wow.
her energy and what she's doing. And we just had so much fun. So we're going to be going back. Maybe you'll have to come with us. We're going to be going back to do some more training. And yeah,
I love that. That would be amazing. Yeah, and of course I would love to meet her. She sounds incredible and like such important work and so needed right now because I really feel like water and light is such the frontier of water science. Like water science in general, I feel is the frontier of all science. Whether you're talking about, the climate, well, studying hydrology is the forefront of solving climate crisis, or you're studying medicine, like understanding hydration is the forefront of solving our health crises. And when you're studying water, like the information that's coming out about the biophotonics of water right now, I think is some of the most interesting work that's out there, like especially with the work that Dov Zantiga and
so
his
we took the
team is doing in the
Honolulu one
Analemma
there. We took
laboratory,
the
which of course
Honolulu
they
one to have
oh,
it studied so
oh
we could
beautiful.
see all of the frequency profiles of this and how it's working, and to really study what he was talking about. It was quite interesting.
Yeah. And you guys mapped it out. You mapped
Yeah.
like the light spectrums that
Oh
were in
yeah.
it. Cool. So is it kind of like gas discharge visualizations? Or are you working with like kind of like a GDV camera or like Dr.
Yes, so
Pop's
she's
work, or is it
using vis
similar in a
near
way?
infrared and to read the water body. So you're reading the water, and then she's come up with
Mhm.
a algorithm that really helps you understand like how to map it and what this looks like. And so she's been taking tons of profiles of water and people over the years. And so it's understanding the frequencies, because water doesn't, you can't take a cup of water and just think, oh, it's this one frequency. There's so many different frequencies that are coming together, and those frequencies are creating different type
Mhm.
of structures that are happening within that water. So she's been able to look at that and understand it and then create a map. It's a literal water map. So when you look at it, it looks like you're looking at a map,
Mhm.
and you can see how these things are coming together and the coherence of it, if it is indeed coherent or there is lacking coherent
Mhm.
structure.
Beautiful. I'm so excited to look at that. I can visualize it. Is it the map of the frequencies in water that kind of looks like a compass? Because I've seen those where you can see if the water is incoherent, it doesn't have many frequencies, that the it's like a scatter plot almost, where it's not symmetrical and it's kind of warped, and like that's the water that most people drink. But then as you bring the full spectrum of the frequencies back to it, you start to see that the points along the scatter plot are reaching towards kind of the
Yeah,
edge of the
it kind of
compass.
looks like that. It's a little bit different though. I'll have to show you because it's something that's very unique and it's also something that I'm learning how to read. She's
Hmm.
like, for my technician that we're gonna have at our lab, she's like, it's gonna take about a year to really be able to read these. So it's not something that's just like simple that you can just put up and go, oh, this is what's
Hmm.
happening, right? I mean, she was walking me through it, and I'm still a little bit like, okay, I'm still learning to understand it,
Yeah.
and it's gonna take a little while, but it's not necessarily like that. It's a little bit different. It's her own thing that she created. It's called aquaponics.
Okay. Well, it's called what? I'm sorry.
Aquaphotomics.
Aquaphotonics, right? Well, this is very exciting. It is so necessary in the water space right now, and you're exciting me so much to dive into this more. Just amazing. I feel like for the people who are listening, I'm sure everybody is wondering, where is this aquaphotonics lab
So
in
here
the
in
US
San
going to be?
Diego, so I have a spa. I'm actually here now at the Hydrate Spa where we have these oxygen tubs, and
Nice.
so it's going to be here at the Hydrate Spa. And when
Hmm.
when our patients come in, we'll be reading them so we can get more data from more people, so that we can
Awesome.
have more for the algorithm that's being created. And the lab will be here. It's in Encinitas, so California, Encinitas.
Epic. I can't wait to come visit. That's awesome. You guys have the oxygen tubs there. I was I was reading, or no, I was talking to someone from the Ophora company, and they were saying that bathing in super oxygenated water actually raises your phase angle. And phase angle is one of those things that typically it's like a
Yeah.
biomarker that shifts gradually over time, and it takes a lot of different inputs. But to be able to just bathe in oxygenated water and raise your
I wonder.
phase angle like
I
that,
haven't
that's
talked to her. I wonder
incredible.
where they're getting
And do you
that
guys,
information or how they tested that. I would love to learn more about that.
yeah, I can put you guys in touch if you'd
Yeah.
like. Do you guys do the phase angle
Yes, we
readings
do.
there at the spa? Amazing.
Yeah.
That's so important. I wish every clinic in America had that. Oh, Steve Panico said close to home. Steve is an amazing water brother. Yeah, Steve, you got to go visit. Go visit the Hydrate Spa for sure. You and Marina,
Yeah. Come
you're gonna
down.
love it.
So yeah. So what's happening here is you're immersing yourself in pure oxygen water, and these little bubbles, everything's infusing into your tissue. So we're learning that it's even more profound to do this than to actually do a dive inside of an oxygen tank and go in the oxygen chamber and sit there for an hour. This is actually getting into your tissues, and it's really helping eliminate hypoxia in the body. So we know that hypoxia is something that is, when we look at disease and aging, it's hypoxia is always there, right? Lack of oxygen in the body. So when you bring
Mhm.
oxygen back into the environment, you're going to be reducing the hypoxic state, and you're going to be opening it up for, like we talked about earlier, we're getting rid of the barriers to healing. So hypoxia is a barrier to healing. So get rid of that barrier of hypoxia, get the oxygen in the body, and the body will start healing itself because the cells are divinely intelligent, knows what to do, but we just need to give it the environment to do so.
Mhm. Absolutely. Volatile inertia just said any work that can help with ALS, the Stephen Hawking disease.
Well, I mean, I'm not a medical doctor, so I don't like to ever say that I can treat or diagnose anything like that, but everyone can benefit from oxygen. So, oxygen, coherent water, we can all
Hmm.
benefit from
For
that, and
sure.
all of our cells are, yeah,
All the 9 steps that are in the Hydrate book will definitely benefit
yeah,
every human
definitely.
body for sure.
So,
Yeah. Does anybody else have any questions for Tracy while we have her on? Definitely want to make the most of your wisdom and your genius while we have you on the line. And something that I love to ask people who are connected with water is, if you feel comfortable, would you like to share a water prayer
Ooh, a
before we
water
pop off?
prayer. I love this.
If you could share a water prayer and also let people know where they can find your book, where they can get connected with you, where they can, yeah, the Susan Chamberlain said, what's the book
Hydrate.
again? It's the Hydrate book. Tracy's going to
So
tell you
it's called
all about
Hydrate
it and
with
where to
Tracy
find it.
Dews, and it hasn't officially launched, so you can't find it on Amazon or any of the bookstores yet. It's on my website, tracydews.com. So if you go to my page, there's a link to my website, and you can get it there. And everyone that pre-orders the book gets a signed copy. So if you're one of the pre-orders, I will sign it with your name on it. And then after that, it's going to be Mother's Day will be launching on Amazon and all the main platforms. So this is the pre-launch. But it's called Hydrate.
You guys are
Yes,
getting a
yes,
sneak preview here.
Um, but I'd love to do a water prayer. God, I just wanted to thank you so much for this time, and for Isabel making time, and every single person that has joined us in this community to make time in this moment to educate ourselves, to learn, to grow. I am so incredibly grateful for this moment. The true present in life is the present. And this present moment is all we have. And when we get to sit in this moment and appreciate it, and breathe into it and feel it and honor it, we're honoring our water body. We're honoring this body of water that we are. We're made up of 99% water molecules, so we're this crystalline structure made out of this beautiful water. And I just want to pray over each and one of our water bodies. I pray for abundance. I pray for coherence. I pray that you would sing your song of love over our bodies so that every single cell is vibrating to the frequency of your loving nature. That every cell is being washed in your loving nature. That they're all in the right spin in this centropic state that's in growth and manifestation of who you are, your true love, your true nature. I pray over anybody's water body that is in dissonant array right now, or there's incoherence, or they're not feeling well, they're experiencing something that's out of place in their body. I pray that you bring coherence into it, and that it would be divinely structured into your perfection, God. We thank you, we thank you, we thank you. I just pray a special blessing over Isabel today. Lay your hand of love and healing and abundance over her. In Jesus' name, amen.
So beautiful. Thank you so much, Tracy. That just warms my heart and gives me chills. And I echo that prayer and I lift it to the heavens. And I'm so grateful for you. And I'm so grateful for your work and your wisdom and your waters. And thank you so much for bringing this to the community here today. And thank you so much for bringing your book to the world and giving people this accessible way to truly up-level and evolve their lives and their bodies. It's so needed right now. Your work and your message and your medicine is so needed and so magical. So thank you for who you are. Thank you for the blessing that you are. Susan Chamberlain said your prayer made her cry. Bringing out those body
Thank you for
waters
the
for
opportunity,
everybody.
Isabel. It's such a blessing, and you've created this amazing platform, and the people that follow you really just love and adore the work that you're putting into the world, because it is with such passion and authenticity and vulnerability, and you do take a lot of time to research, and it's clear that you really know what you're talking about, and it's just such a blessing. So thank you for just making this time to resonate on this really important topic.
Such a pleasure. I'm excited to connect with you more soon.
Yes.
Water Sisters for Life. Thank you, everybody, for joining. I hope you have a beautiful rest of your day, Tracy. And to everybody, have a
Bye.
beautiful day and stay hydrated.